I love the community. Um, there were a few of us about a year ago that got together at the DynamicsCon. No, it's been about a year, right? So last
Coming
year,
up on
Liz,
it.
I think, and kind of discussed about the fact that we needed to have a group that talked about diversity and inclusion um, and accessibility, and how did we bring that together? And I don't think that it was any one person or even two who could do it. So the more that we talked about it, and we got Liz involved, and then subsequently Bobby involved, and we came up with this group of co-leaders, and there are six of us in total. And we each represent different areas of diversity and how that impacts us in our life, and how we go about our day every day, and thought that it would be important to share that with other people. So um, those six of us are myself, Bobby, obviously, Taylor, thank you, Taylor, and Jody Kronk, who could not be on the call today, Rachel Irbor, hi Rachel, and then Mark Apicella. So each of us kind of represent a different area within the space and within this group, and we are so excited to kick this off and begin a journey, learning about everybody and other people and other communities and other needs, and really be able to open our minds, hence the diverse uh, tagline there. So the diverse minds. Anyway, that's my intro to our group, and we are excited to be here and excited to share this journey with you. And I am now going to say thank you, Bobby, and it's all yours. And you and Madison can lead us from here.
Yeah, I'll actually, Madison, if you don't mind, we're just going to go through just a little bit of housekeeping and some information on upcoming events, and then I'll jump in after Madison and then introduce our guest today and kind of what our first meeting's about, and a little bit about maybe what we're going to do going forward.
Yeah, sounds good. Did you want to go ahead and talk about upcoming events now, or do you want me to do the Doug intros?
Yeah, why don't you go and do your Doug intros now? Yeah, and then I'll take over after that. Yeah, thank you.
Of course. All right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Madison Zulowitz, and I am the event coordinator here at Doug. So I help run all of our local and regional meetups. And I'm super excited about this group. I think it's been a long time in the making, so very excited that we're finally getting things rolling. And a huge shout out to all of our leaders in this group. As Robin mentioned, they each kind of represent a different type of diversity, and I think it's great that we all get to get together and hear different points of view. So super excited. And I'm here just to talk a little bit about Doug and who we are and what all we offer. So we are a free community for users, implementers, and resellers of Microsoft Business applications. Our mission is to support Dynamics 365, GP, and Power Platform community. We want to help people grow and excel in their personal and professional careers by offering plenty of free events. We have some rules of engagement. Essentially, all that we ask is that these meetups are held to be solely educational. So please, no sales pitches. We want everybody to come here and gain some education. Please ask questions as well. We love when our attendees get involved with the speakers. I know the speakers really appreciate it. So please, please, please ask questions. That's how you get the most out of these meetups. Doug or Dynamics user group, we have multiple different online platforms. So we have free online discussion forums where you can go and ask any question and the community will help answer. We have webinars, conferences, or actually our DynamicsCon conference is coming up soon, which we'll get to in a minute. We have local meetups like this one, as well as DynamicsCon regionals. So DynamicsCon regionals are a little bit larger in scope. They're usually 1 to 2 day events, and it's a full day of content with multiple different breakout rooms. So those are always great to go to. They're free events as well. We have a YouTube channel where virtual meetups like this one get posted to our YouTube channel. So if you're ever interested about what people are talking about all around the world, it's a fantastic place to get some free education. So I would highly suggest checking that out. We have our 2025 DynamicsCon regionals coming up. So our North America ones, we're going to Canada coming up June 16th and 17th. Rocky Mountain, we're going to Denver, Colorado, August 21st. Ohio Valley, August 26th and 27th. We're going to Texas in September, and we're going back to Tampa, Florida in January of 2026. We are also going international this year, so we are super excited about that. We will be going to West Africa, so in Accra, Ghana on July 19th, and then we'll be going to Kenya July 24th and 25th. And we'll be going to Europe September 4th. So very excited. We're definitely expanding as Doug grows a little bit bigger. So super excited to be able to bring these regionals a little bit further. We also have our 2025 DynamicsCon coming up May 13th and 16th. I think a lot of people on this call have been to past DynamicsCons. If I can get back to the screen. There we go. This is an awesome event to attend. It is a multi-day event with lots and lots of different educational sessions, networking sessions. It's a great way to get involved in the community. And we currently have a 15% off code for our meetup members. If you're interested in coming, you can use that code meetup15 for 15% off your DynamicsCon ticket. So if you are able to, we would love to have you join us, and I'll send that code in the chat. And if you have any questions about Doug, feel free to reach out to me. And I'll go ahead and pass it back over to Bobby. Thanks.
Thank you, Madison. Appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of good events and a lot of good activity. I won't take too long, but did want to introduce myself and my purpose in the group. My name is Bobby Small. I've been in the Dynamics channel for well over 20 years as an end user on the partner side and now with the community. So I work for Doug. And it was last year that I also felt empowered to amplify my voice around diversity, specifically around women in tech, and started to do some podcasting and building up this idea of what I wanted to do. And then just by chance and sheer luck and my heart filled when I heard there were these other folks that wanted to do something even more diverse and were passionate around it. And so this is kind of how we developed Diverse Minds, with just, reaching out to every, and everywhere we can be diverse and be inclusive and create equity and accessibility, which just, that's our end goal. So this is our kickoff meeting. We decided to showcase a community member who we're going to see this video in just a second, this podcast and interview as our kickoff. And, our next meeting will be more of an introduction to each of us and each of our roles in this equation and what we plan to do going forward. And then we'll be meeting in person in Chicago. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. And in June, Taylor, who's on the call, will be talking about accessibility. So we planned out and we've got a lot of great content. The goal is to keep amplifying the voices and keep this out in the media from all angles so that we are just providing more and more exposure and understanding around what it means to be diverse and inclusive and create equity for all of us. So that's kind of our driving mission and the reason why we're doing this. So with that, again, want to thank our guest today. Meron has been in the community also a long time, and it's been fun getting to know her over the last 6 to 8 months in person. We sat down and we've been working on one-on-one conversations since November, and sat down to do this podcast and this discussion earlier this month. So we're excited to share this and have her here with us to discuss her journey afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and click over and share the video and get that started. We'll just watch the podcast and listen to Meron, and then we'll have her on afterwards to answer any questions and have discussion around her experiences and how that affects you and how you were affected by her discussion. So I'm going to go ahead and click over here, and I'm going to stop sharing. Just going to make sure I share properly. Yeah, here we go. You should be seeing my screen now. Is everybody thumbs up on the screen? And I'm going to click start, and you should be hearing everything too. So let's hope this all...
Mentorship literally changed my life, and that's why I want to
Perfect.
preach and talk about it. Because if you meet someone and they give you money, let's say $100, 200, even $1,000, they might say, oh, that's just something I have extra, and they can make it in a blink of an eye. There is no attachment, right? But when you invest your time and energy, that's never going to go back to you and say, you are worthy of my time. I'm going to spend my time and energy to empower you. That's a priceless gift, and we need to talk about it. The people, the culture, everything is different. So I don't expect it to be treated different, but I wish people to see me who can provide the skill set. Like I have the ability to do the job. Don't look for my broken accent, my out of character fashion, because I wear for comfort. I don't wear to please anyone or anything, because I'm overweight, and I want people to see me like Meron, not the way I dress, not the way my English is, but the things I can provide.
Again, happy to be on with you officially, talking about your journey, not only getting to the United States, but also through your career. What an amazing career, to be honest, when you talk about it, and how you're moving back into tech now, and making all the steps and integrating into the Microsoft community. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Start real quickly, if you don't mind, just for everybody, introducing yourself, and then yeah, just hear a little bit about kind of who you are and where you came from.
Thank you, Bobby, for having me.
Of
My
course.
name is Meron Gebremedhin. I was born and raised in East Africa, Ethiopia. I have two brothers and two sisters. Married, have two kids, and recently I got my first dan in black belt, which I lived my childhood dream, but graduated in software engineering. But I was wearing a different hat for 14 years. I owned an international business, and my business partner used to be from England. In 2017, I migrated to USA, and I'm trying to earn my stripes in the IT industry. I have been studying, working with mentorship. Uh, Usually, people hear me say I'm the product of Microsoft community, because I have been supported, guided, empowered by the community. So I'm a community product.
Yeah, that's that's a good point. I think we'll talk a little bit more about that too, because I'd love to hear more about that particular journey of mentorship along the way. And you've talked a lot about your dad too, and how impactful he was. You've mentioned a couple of times in our one-on-one conversations. I think you mentioned he lost his arm, and that um, put you in a position to have to do more and learn more, just to take up some of the slack. If you don't mind sharing a little bit about that, because I think that's just interesting how our lives evolve based on what we experience.
Yeah, nowadays I more appreciate my dad, because when he lost his arm, I think I was 8 or 9 year old. Um, Nobody stopped and asked him how are you adjusting to the new change, because he have
Mm,
to learn to tie his belt, his shoe. He have to write all over again, learn how to write, and
mm,
I can write both hands because I was practicing with him. I even call him sometimes out of a blue to say thank you,
mm,
because when we grew up, he never stopped and never complained. So he's my personal hero. He had a vision. At that time in Africa, we don't have like computers like we have right now. We have to go to a center and learn. He paid for me to go to school, learn computers, so I can build him a hand. So I have a 30 years or more year old debt I need to pay.
what a great opportunity that gave you to get to that next level of schooling, to spark probably something that he saw in you anyway. What was it like as a female in a country where you were going to you're studying science or technology? Was it difficult?
You adapt with the situations.
Mm.
You don't have to like take it very hard, or I can say it is so easy, because I never have like come home and practice. You have to go to the center, learn
Yeah.
it's even to learn Word, Excel, Access, you pay for it, and he paid for those courses. Then we practice there, come back home, and I read books, and we didn't afford to photocopy books, so I used to copy books by my hand, and my handwriting is nice because I copied a lot
Over
of
and over
books,
again.
even going through college. I can't afford to do those things, so I copied books, JavaScript,
Mm.
HTML books. I copied those, but it was normal for me. We have a vision, we have a goal. In order to reach that, you have to put work on it, and I enjoyed it. Like you write codes now, you see like ChatGPT, like communication. We
Mm-hmm.
used to write those simple codes and say, "What's my name?" When it says Meron, it was, "You look what I have done."
Was it unusual for a female to be doing that in your country, or were there a lot of women and girls starting to learn science and technology?
I was lucky enough in my classroom. We have so many girls interested in IT, and they were brilliant. I had friends, but they can afford it, which I don't. I got a full scholarship still this day. I wish I could go back and ask him what he saw in me to give
Mm.
me that full scholarship, because what I've done is um, I couldn't afford to go to college. So I wrote to a few private colleges to give me a scholarship, and attached to my final year results and microlink information technology, he gave me a full scholarship to learn computer science. It was a fun journey, because when I come home, I'm coming home to a loving family, a family
Mm.
who supports me. My brothers and sisters, we sleep on the floor. You don't see the hardship, because we have a group vision, and
Mm-hmm.
my classmates, some of them like brothers and sisters, still we keep in touch. There were one girl, her name is Sakina. She even bought me clothes to say, "Hey, I want you to come and let's go and see um, clothes for my sister." She
Mm.
was tricking me. She makes me try clothes, and she leave it with me. She
Oh.
doesn't have to do that. So in my life, I'm privileged, and always I'm grateful for God putting those peoples in my life. Always somebody stepped in. That's why I value mentorship a lot, because whether that person who came into the room in 2005, and he said, "One day I'm going to start a business with you," and he like leaving the business with me in Africa, people thought he's crazy. They told him, "How could you give like millions and millions of dollars for a poor girl, and she's too young?"
Mm.
But he said, "I see a potential in her," and like the community. So always someone stepped in, and makes it easy for me to take those hardships, because I know I have the support system to keep going.
And you give back a lot too, so I think that's kind of the interesting part about giving into a community and being a part of a community that you're active in. That's again, whether it's a church or a dynamics community or whatever community it is that you're involved in, when you're there actively and passionately giving, then people are naturally gonna you know actively and passionately give back to you when you need it most. So it's interesting to hear that. I mean, you stepping up and going to school and taking advantage of all those opportunities too. It's not just you see some folks, like you said, maybe they come from very um, privileged backgrounds where they get opportunities but don't realize what an opportunity it is. And when you're not as privileged, and this is truly a beacon to a person that says, hey, this is such an honor and an opportunity for me to do something, that you typically take more advantage of it, maybe. So you got your degree, and then you started a business. You were doing that. So you attained a lot of success in your home country, and you came to the United States. What was that like, that transition?
When I come to America, I was prepared. I was ready because I can start over. I have been dirt poor. I have
Right.
managed to be reasonably financially secured. And if I become an immigrant, I was ready. What I was not ready is for my kids. I didn't
Mm.
expect my 8-year-old and 3-year-old at that time. I was not ready for these questions. I was not ready for the ups and downs when we are going. Um, I was not ready for that. But
Mm.
I'm lucky enough to have a community um, allowed me to make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and to have mentors. Because having a mentor allowed me to accept and know my weaknesses and strengths.
Mm.
Because one of the things I used to say to people is when they said, you can't do this, I said, no, because it's a new environment, right? I try to prove and tell them that I was successful there.
Right.
Don't pity me right now. I was such and such person. But one person said, if you really are as good as you said you are, show it to me.
Mm.
And it was like a challenge, right? Don't cry, just do the work, and really change that.
Or you can even cry, but cry through the work. I mean, there's, you can submit, to tears every once in a while. Everybody gets to a point of breaking down. It's just what you do with it once you do. So if you break down, are you going to continue to break down, or you just say, hey, okay, I had that moment. I was upset. I let it out. It's emotion. You've got it. You've got to let it go, and you've got to let it be with you, but don't let it, drag you.
Yeah.
Rising above it. So, um,
Yeah, and also one day, I think we came in within 6 months. I was crying the whole day because I didn't know how to manage and how to navigate. And I saw a YouTube clip done by Inky Johnson. He used to be a professional football player, but he was paralyzed because of an impact through the game
hmm,
in his right side. And he said, we know, we all know what to do when God say yes, and we don't, like, how do we react when it is no? And to listen to him talk about it, I
yeah,
said, and instead of no, think about it like a redirection. Whether it's the universe, whatever belief you have, how do you accept that energy or that sign that coming to your way?
yeah,
That really changed my perspective to say, mm-hmm, like it's not a failure,
yeah.
it's a challenge. How do you take it? How do you accept and just move on?
You mentioned earlier, um, having mentors and people tell you, be direct, and a person has to be open. Were you open to that initially? Because it's tough to hear, like, harder conversations, or, tough words sometimes. And if you're not ready for them, you might not take them to value. You might feel offended or upset or mad or angry, whatever. Um, were you immediately ready for that kind of feedback, or did it take some time?
It took me by surprise because I have been a breadwinner since I was a kid, right? I've been working to compensate whatever my dad was not able to provide. And I raised my brothers, sisters, and I have a big voice in the house because I'm really loud. But when that person told me, just stop crying and show me the work, show me the result, like if you are really good, that took me by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found the Tribute app and found the Microsoft community. And I met my first mentor, Thomas Newman from Germany. And he popped up on a call and he started talking to me because the culture I came from, you give something, there is in return something. Even if I bring a cake to you with a plate, you don't return that plate empty. You have to put something on it. That's the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
For him to keep coming and I looked at myself. I have nothing to give it to him. So I was sure he was not going to come on the next call. But he has been my mentor for the last 4 years. Not only my mentor, in his wedding day, he called me to say,
Aw.
how are you? Because that was our call scheduled day. Even when he's traveling, he sends me picture. So
Mm-hmm.
these people, every week, they keep coming onto the calls.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what do they want? What's they're getting out of it? You know, I'm questioning because the way I raised, I have to give something back.
Yeah.
And on a different call we had, I asked three of them, why you keep coming? I enjoy learning. I'm so excited, but what is in it for you? Like, what can I do for you? Because I felt like I'm not worthy of their time because
Yeah.
there's nothing I can offer. But they said, because you are worthy. You have no any idea how much that means for me at that moment. It felt like I have wings, I can fly, I can do whatever I want. At all my worries, all my I don't know how to put it in words, but I can feel that a big burden from my shoulder left. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
felt
that's
free
huge and so
because
empowering. Yeah.
yeah, imagine you are sitting in a dark room, there's no light, and the glimpse of light that coming to that room means a lot. But for me, it's a big plasma light into me, and these people I don't even know, and some like Thomas is in Germany, Simon is in Sweden, Chris is in New York, but these people to invest their time, energy to empower someone, they don't even look like them. I said, you see, like I told you, people stepped in my life so I can be where I am today. And
Meron, if you don't mind, let's talk a little bit about, specifically just a few challenges that you faced as an immigrant coming, in your job search, kind of as you're breaking the tech. What were maybe two of the top, challenges that you and other immigrants face?
thank you, Bobby. Once again, um, we can start from the format of the resume. Um, my resume says curriculum vitae on the top, and it's listed my name, date of birth, and address. Then we list out a few things like education, but even the resume format is different. So finding people who can look into it and help you. So that's one of the challenge, curating your resume for the job. And the other one is interview. Tell me about yourself. Here is like selling yourself. Um, my name is Meron Gebremedhin. I have 14 or more years work experience in computer science. I have worked on this successful project. This is what I've done. But back home, when they ask you, tell me about yourself, they want to know if you are grounded.
Mm.
So my answer is going to be, my name is Meron. I'm married, 2 kids. It's more showing them I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. This is the skill set I have. But here it's different. You are selling yourself, the skill set, the experience, the challenges, your weaknesses and strengths. It's been 8 years since I left home, so I don't know what changed, but before that, that's how I used to answer. So most of the interview questions I failed because I didn't even know how to answer, tell me about yourself.
Mm.
The other part is work experience. Even if I have a solid ground, I have a work experience a few years with United Nations. I have a work experience to run a multi-million-dollar business for 14 years. It doesn't matter. When you come here, it's ground zero. This all work experience challenges how we approach our customers, clients, and our global fund, because most of the goods that bought was through global funding from USAID, DFID, KfW from Germany. I have to go back and let them know we are changing this spec because of this. So all this work experience can be utilized here, but no, it doesn't work that way. So when you start over, you need to find a company, you need to find a hiring manager who's going to believe and take risk on you. Otherwise, that's why we have so many brilliant minds working on survival jobs. We have doctors, biomedical engineers. I know many people. I got a privilege to meet through Pathfinders who's not given an opportunity. So, but many immigrants, they might not have access like I have or the information I have. So many my brilliant minds are getting wasted just because they have that title in front as an immigrant.
And so that is lends to a good question. How do they go about doing what you did? What are your recommendations for immigrants to they're coming in that are new, that are struggling, even if they've been here a while, the folks that you mentioned, these brilliant people that are well educated but come to the United States and have to start at this ground zero and need to build this trust, but do it quickly and effectively. What recommendations do you have?
There is no shortcut. Keep doing what you can do. I studied when I started 60 to 18 hours or more. I have kids, I have responsibilities, but I have a dream as well. I have a goal that I needed to achieve. So there were times I want to give up. There were times I cried for many days. But the only responsibility as an individual I have is to do the work that's required from me, because I can't change the hiring manager, but I can show him what I can do. And it shows when you speak, it shows your work. So you have to make people believe in you, and that's through work. Go out and network. I'm like, if you meet earlier my mentors, they will tell you I can't talk about myself because it's a culture thing. We don't talk about like I have done this, I have done that, I have this. We don't say that. I have to learn that. I joined Toastmasters to improve my speaking skill. I start speaking on conferences. I'm profoundly grateful for Azure, who took the first responsibility and stood next to me on presentations. Julie Yak, Chris Gill, and people like Bobby Chang, who comes all the time before my presentation to listen to my presentation and give me few feedbacks. Alan Garcia, all these people, they say, hey, do you have something to say? Call. They check my presentation. So because I reached out, I said, I need help. I want to speak, but I don't know how to speak. This is the idea I have. This is what I have. And the way I approached you, like I learned to talk about my vulnerability.
Yeah, that's good advice. And I think that's the key, is not being afraid to ask, as tough as it may seem, start somewhere with somebody and just start that process of asking for that help.
Yeah, my dad says when somebody succeed or when they do something right, he says that person was there at the right time and at the right moment to grab the opportunity. So your job is to keep going to grab that right moment. It might not be right now. That's why when I talk to people, I ask them, tell me about failures. How do you pass them?
Yeah.
Because I might be on fail number 6 and that person might took him 12 or 9. So
Right.
I say, okay, to get to Bobby, I need 3 more failures. I'm ready.
Yeah.
If we have a different build, a different culture we came from. So it took him 12, maybe for me it might be 80. That's how mentorship is. They
Yep.
have gone through the process, they have been challenged, they are telling you this is how I've gone through. But when they go through, there is a different time, different low, different things. So
Mm-hmm.
I can give you an example. As an immigrant, when we came in, uh, they give you a work permit with 180 days. Now they are saying per year. So whatever I'm going to tell the next person who comes in is totally different.
Yeah.
Different experience, but it doesn't mean they have to give up. Or it doesn't mean you cannot do this because this is how it's been done for me, you are a failure. No. It's a different time, a different rule, a different ball game you are going to play. But this is how I survive. This is a tool I use. Here you go.
Yeah.
Define it, like take it, take that and make it your own. Like don't take my word 1000% or 100%. Take it and make it your own. And really the mentorship, all the mentors I have, they were very honest, telling me their experience. It was awesome for me, just knowing when and how to act.
You know, I'm getting close to 60 years old now, so I'm 57, and I was looking back at this person who was in their 20s and thinking to myself, wow, at your age, I was so much further behind where you are now. So you're looking at me thinking, wow, you've done so much in your career. And I'm looking back at you going, wow, you've done so much more in your career already than I did at 24. I can't even imagine the heights you're going to reach when you hit my age. You know, it's accelerated. And I see that a lot. I don't know if it's true or if it's just a fallacy I'm making up, but I feel like when I look at, you know, the folks I'm working with that are in that younger, you know, in the early stages of their career, that they're so much more educated and far past where I was. And so I'm excited for them to be where I am now, because they're going to be, you know, way above me. And I'd be looking up and asking them, how did you get there? You know, it just, you know, back to your point of don't judge yourself by the person, judge yourself by what you want to accomplish, and put yourself in position by asking. And you mentioned it is hard, but it doesn't hurt to ask. One other thing, excuse me, before we have to finish up, I just wanted to hear from you on some of the challenges of, you know, not only breaking into technology as you know, now you're in the States, breaking into technology as an immigrant and as a woman. Anything, you know, any key points that you see as hurdles that people could learn from you on?
I was mentioning it earlier to a friend. The first time when I saw Azure, McFarlane, she's one of my mentors. I got so excited because she put her hair under the band, like the cover, and I said, and people are listening to her, and I want that energy. I want that skill set. And when I reached out to her, she was kind enough to talk to me, and still every time she sent me message, she asked me all kind of questions, especially for my daughter, because she knows I'm a tomboy. And you need people like that. I have a mentor who calls me just to have a Starbucks. We sit next to each other, and having him there, it just makes me happy. He doesn't know anything about technology, and he's one of the first people I met when I come to USA. And he asked me all kind of questions. How are you? How's your day? Because nobody was interested enough to ask me those questions. Because when I grew up, they say, I want a pencil right now. It's not, how's your day? No, there's no question. But for him to come and say, we are having lunch today. When I go in, one of us who got first get the coffee, we sit together. and his name is Bob Bison. He used to be a lobbyist in Capitol Hill, and we sit together and says, "How's your dad? How was your day?" And he was genuinely interested to hear my answers. I have the ups and downs I came from. It has its own story to tell.
Yeah.
So I, that's all I was interested in. Like one person I interviewed for a job and told me I'm a bookworm because I have 16 or more Microsoft certification at that time. But what he didn't understand is I don't have a foundation. I need that to find that anchor. So for me, my entertainment is learning. Every time I meet my mentor, he's like with Chris Girl. We were trying to figure out Logic App. We ended up studying Power Platform together because in Azure platform there is a security score. When you're trying to fix it, takes you to Logic App, log analytics, and when you go there, it's the same structure as building Power Automate. So we said, in order to understand these connectors, let's learn Power Platform, and we ended up being studying together. Now we speak together, right? So that's how you grow. That's how you find your foundations. So for me, I didn't found that foundation yet. So you see me on Power Platform, Microsoft Business Application, Endpoint Management, Azure Platform. All the certification is for me is a kind of learning, entertaining myself, and I'm a work in progress. But if I found something that's going to make me anchor, I might do like just one thing. So for me, I just want people to see me and know I have the skill set to do the job and I have a lot to offer.
I think that what you said there is really powerful, and it leans into really what diversity and inclusivity and equity really mean. It's not about giving unfair advantage to somebody. It's not about, but it is about allowing people to be seen for what they are and who they are.
Absolutely.
So that to me is just, I just wanted to make sure that that was, reiterated and so clear. It's not about, that you said, a broken language or how you dress or how tall you are or any of those things. It's about who you are and what you bring to the relationship wherever it is, at work and at home, and any of these places. So that's why these conversations are important, in my opinion, with all levels of diverse people and folks in the world, so that people can continue to just to learn and understand the core of a person and not what you immediately want to see and attach to. And that to me is diversity and equity and inclusion. That's the important piece, and you nailed it perfectly with what you just said.
And my breakthrough coming on 2023 in Las Vegas. I was attending Microsoft Power Platform, and I always has been conscious about my accent. So Charles Lamana came to the stage, and he was, as you know, he's well articulated. He was engaging, and I was enjoying. Then he started inviting people to the stage, and I said, those people look like me because they all has accent, and some of them have a heavy accent that you have to calm down yourself first in order to understand what they are saying.
Mm-hmm.
But the people in the conference hall are listening. I say this is why I love my community, because for them to be on that stage allowed me to see, okay, one day I can be there, because
Yes.
it doesn't matter how I sound. What matters is what is in here, in the brain, what I can provide. So that was my biggest aha moment to say, and I accepted it. And now I say, do you understand the message I'm conveying? If you do, That's it. I don't care how I sound. The important thing is clear and the message is given.
Yeah,
How you receive it is your responsibility.
it's on the listener and it's on the viewer to allow that to not be a barrier to learning more about somebody and allowing that person into your life. Because if I immediately, like you said, hear a language I'm not familiar with or see a look or a person I'm not familiar with, and I put up that barrier, then I'm not experiencing um, life to its fullest, and I'm missing out on such great opportunity. And so that's why, again, what a great illustration of the idea that if you see yourself reflected in somebody else going up on stage with this person who's leading, Microsoft, and all of a sudden it becomes a reality and not just a dream or even an afterthought of I could do this. You literally see yourself reflected up on that stage doing it, and you're like, wow, I can do it. There is no barrier. I'm looking around and people are clapping and they're enjoying these folks who talk like me or have accents or whatever the case may be, that all of a sudden this becomes a reality and an empowering moment. That's why more of this type of activity, these type of discussions, this getting these stories out is so important.
The community. I know they heard it so many times, but still, every day I wake up, I say, thank you so much for putting these people in my life, because there is no fear, there is no regret. I'm always happy, and I can't wait to keep giving back to the community. So I want them to be proud. I want them to know that their work, their input has a fruit, and and it multiplied. I just the community keep mentoring, keep
Yeah, and
empowering
believe
people.
me, you're a spark in the community. So it's a pleasure to be in the community with you, and to have you on just as I'm sure everybody else you've mentioned is appreciated getting to know you and getting to work alongside of you. It's not, it sounds more like it's evolved into, like you said, not just mentorship, but friendship and relationship that's ongoing. So
One of the reason I gravitated to you and asked for your guidance and mentorship is because of your positive energy. You have that giving mentality, and I never have a chance to had one-to-one conversation before, but in to see you on a stage in Colorado, and with the other people,
at my goofiest
and
moment.
yeah, that was awesome. Also in San Antonio, to have that energy, to have that positivity, you don't see all the time. So thank you so much for being like all the community members yourself, being a beacon of hopes for people like me. Uh,
Oh,
we all are a work in progress.
yes, we are.
We will make mistakes, but tolerate with us, allow us to grow, coming from different culture, different values and backgrounds. Sometimes we might sound rude. It's because of the language. We have different tones in our language. The way we dress, it comes to culture and the way we have been raised. So, but at the end of the day, we want success. We want to be better than yesterday. We always seeking that the better version of ourselves. So if you saw me making mistakes, don't be afraid to stop me and correct me, because I want that mentorship. I want that guidance to continue. I receive from the community. I want people to remember and to know, like the community, to keep working, to keep giving, because the Microsoft community is a giving community. They don't expect anything in return. So far, the people I made, like I said, 99% are like that. They want to give you, they want to empower you, they just want you to smile, have a good day, like have like, because they are helping you. If it's less burden, that
Yeah.
makes them happy. And I was saying a lot of times, I want to know where you are drinking your water, because it feels magical to have people to have the same mindset and thought process of helping others. And when you see the community is million and millions of people, how do you get them to come together, have that service mentality? Because for me, it just, I want people to know, if you really need help, if you really want to change, help is out there, and this is where you get it. That's all I do in my community, for them to come from higher position and level up with me so I can come up to their place. It just, every day it makes me smile and be happy, and I feel privileged to say thank you to the community. I know they heard it so many times, but still every day I wake up I say thank you so much for putting these people in my life, because there is no fear, there is no regret. I'm always happy, and I can't wait to keep giving back to the community. So I want them to be proud. I want them to know that their work, their input has a fruit, and it multiplied. That's, I just, the community, keep mentoring, keep
And
empowering
believe
people.
me, you're a spark in the community. So it's a pleasure to be in the community with you, and to have you on, just as I'm sure everybody else you've mentioned is appreciated getting to know you, and getting to work alongside of you. It's not, it sounds more like it's evolved into, like you said, not just mentorship, but friendship and relationship that's ongoing. So that's I think just a really sweet and perfect way to end our conversation. I appreciate you chatting about this and sharing your story, on, on the outlook for anybody, again, immigrant or not, just, and how you can uplift yourself in a community, find your community, and don't be afraid to engage with the community.
So thank you so much for being, like all the community members, yourself, being a beacon of hopes for people like me. Uh, we all are a work in progress.
Yes, we are.
We will make mistakes, but tolerate with us, allow us to grow. Coming from different culture, different values and backgrounds, sometimes we might sound rude. It's because of the language. We have different tones in our language. The way we dress, it comes to culture and the way we have been raised. So, but at the end of the day, we want success. We want to be better than yesterday. We always seeking that the better version of ourselves. So if you saw me making mistakes, don't be afraid to stop me and correct me, because I want that mentorship. I want that guidance to continue. I receive from the community.
That guy. Thank you all for watching that with us. Um, really appreciate, being able to do that with Meron. And like we mentioned, we've been, having conversations, and I mentioned in the chat real quickly, a lot of times I really do wish we were recording them, because we have such great conversations around her experience and diversity, and how it's all playing into this community that we're a part of. So was so excited to have her on with us, and here she is with us. So Meron, thank you so much again for allowing us to hear your story, and being here with us. There were a couple of questions in the chat, but did you want to say anything before we got to those? I think you answered at least one or two.
Yeah, for me, I want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story. Like I said, I'm the product of the community. Each and every one of you, directly or indirectly, helped me to grow. I had the chance to have one-on-one conversation with many of you. So keep mentoring me, keep guiding me, and thank you so much.
I have not had a one-on-one conversation with you, and now I'm excited to be in Chicago in May. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Where language is concerned, I have a difficult time sometimes. I've tried to learn Spanish for probably 10 years, and I am barely conversational at it. It's just something that I don't wrap my head around very well. So I think from a concept of immigrating to another country where you are integrating into that country and that culture, how big a barrier was language for you? And and I guess, how does it affect you still today? I know you've been here for a while.
Yeah, I have been here 8 years.
Hmm.
Um, in Ethiopia, we like next to our biggest language, Amharic, we speak English, and sometimes for official letter we write letters in English. I thought I can speak English, and I was confident. And when I start speaking, that's when I realized I'm not speaking English at all, because sometimes when you convey your message, the tone, like I speak Amharic, English in Amharic. Uh, I think in Amharic, I try to say it. Sometimes the grammar is wrong, or the concept I'm trying to say has a different meaning. Um, like when I call numbers 13, I always have to call it 13 or 30. 14, I will say 14 or 40 everywhere I go till this day, because they don't get it, and it is frustrating. But if the kids are nearby, even I had a long fight with Siri. So the kids, I call them over to say, hey, ask Siri this, or can you say this? Yesterday, my daughter was teaching me how to say, I won a lottery. And we had a long, fun discussion. My son taught me, I used to say avocado because that's avocado. Then he taught me to say avocado. Um, I done a speech in Toastmaster. I had a fear of going to escalators. Now I can say it. Before, you should hear me, it's all over the place, but because I didn't know which one to, like, we thought we can speak, right? But it's different. It's different
Yes.
when you are speaking with the people who have the same tone, and coming here, and people sometimes say, don't shout. I'm not shouting, or I'm not angry. It's because I'm speaking English in Amharic tone. It sounds like that. Because Amharic, when you speak, there is like you have high pitch at the end, or something like that. Then when I speak in English, people think I'm angry or I'm upset. I said I'm not shouting. This is because I speak 4 different language. Now I'm learning Korean, so feels more. So it's more difficult when people have multiple language. We need to understand, just like anything else, is part of the growth, and appreciate what they're trying to do, because it shows their skills, their ability. That means they speak another language, and show respect. That's all I can say. And you are doing awesome. Like, always try to use the Spanish, watch TV, listen music. That's how I'm trying to learn Korean. So when you are learning new language, that's why I joined Toastmasters. All
Yeah.
the time I'm raising my hand, I'm in front of to speak, whether it's humorous speech or anything. I try to tell them the story what the kid did, myself did, like the escalator. It's amazing for me to first time I saw it. I was in Germany and I was afraid to go down. I ended up like abandoning the idea, and I've gone back to my hotel. But now, even now when we go to the mall, I said, I'll take the stairs, see you upstairs. So it's a funny story to share. So I try to speak in Toastmasters as much as possible, so I can go out and share the story and inspire someone, like the community inspired and empowered me to be where I am today, because we learn from others. Each of us has a story to tell.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your answer.
Hey, Meron, it's Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
I just want to thank you. That was great, and I've had the pleasure of talking to you quite a bit. But hearing your full story was awesome, and it's a perfect example of the kind of people we want to highlight on in this group. Like just illuminating so many things that we probably never think of, like talking about the differences in the interview process. Like I never thought of that. Like I wouldn't. No, I don't think anyone on this call really thought when they hear the question, tell me about yourself, like talk personally about yourself. Like we probably think, oh, they don't care about that stuff. And they only want to hear facts and statistics. So that was really great. And I know you were talking about the importance of mentorship, and I think that would probably be one of the most important things you would recommend to others in your situation. But what are some other like key things to keep for other people wanting to follow in your footsteps to keep in mind?
Thank you, Taylor. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You have been one of my inspiration too. Um, for for me, I always like to read. I try to read 2 books per month, and I ask people when I meet people, I say, are you reading anything new or even watching a movie? Because you can find inspiration through this process. Um, like when I was in Ethiopia, I didn't like reading biography or self-development books. I was always reading fictions. And my first book someone gave me in 2017 was The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. I have 5 or 6 copies in my house. Every time I go to a teenager birthday, I give them that book. It's basically what for me it's really changed my life, how to think and have that mindset shift. Uh, because talking about your vulnerability and acknowledging it gives you power to control it, to overcome it. So for me, reach out to people, work with them, and ask for help, because asking for help is not weakness. I see it now as a strength. So for me, mentorship and books really, really have a big impact on my life. So I encourage people to read. I listen to podcasts as well. Um, the School of Greatness, one of the podcasts I listened, a Diary of the CEO. You hear people, their failure, how they overcome it, because that's the process I'm really interested. Your $1 million is the end product. How did you get there? Because there is no overnight success on anybody's life. We see people, we see their glorious moment, but there is moment they were like us. So reach out. People like Bobby, Liz, Molly, Alan Garcia, Julia Yag, Kylie Kaiser, Heidi. For me, all the community. You will not have time to if I call everyone, because they came from where they are. And for me, I was telling Bobby, they're my Beyonce, they're my Jay-Z, they're my like Denzel Washington, because in the community they are well respected, my celebrities, right? For them to come where they are and hold my hand so I can be where they are, like that's more than going to school or doing anything. Learn from the legend we have in our community, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. It costs them their life, their time, energy to invest in you, but there's for you only requires dedication and hard work.
Yeah, I always talk about that with accessibility. It's truly a mutually beneficial relationship. People love to help people. Like it makes us feel good. So I feel like that's always a good message to share.
Yeah, and at this point, I also encourage you, Taylor, because you are the bridge, right? In our community, I see a few people who are willing and vulnerable enough to come and talk about it. You are my dad representative, you are other community representative, you are the bridge between the product and the end, right? The as a customer. So we need you to be there and keep going. If there is times you feel like you're not heard or appreciated, know that there are people like me who always going to look up to you, because you are like narrowing the gap that's created. Many people talk about it, but they don't act. You don't see action. I know Kat works on UI UX. She talks about it a lot, but we still need more people to come out and talk about it, because I want my dad. He has a lot of ideas because he's 100%. He doesn't know how to play games. We need to create a game where he can play. Now he has a voice, you in the community, to talk about it, to raise awareness, because I can talk about it because I don't have any experience. I can highlight it, but you can talk about it from your own personal experience. It comes from you. It has power. It has convincing sound. So keep going, and we need you in the community more.
Well, I appreciate that. And that's a big reason for this group. Like we have people from different minority groups giving a voice to people who aren't necessarily wanting to speak up. So hoping to do a lot more of that.
Thank you.
That was a great bit of discussion. Rachel, yeah, I was just going to ask if there's any other questions. Please come off mute and go ahead. Oh, you're still on mute, Rachel. We'd love to hear your beautiful. There we go.
Okay. Hi, it's so amazing to listen to your story. This is my first time hearing you discuss about your story, and it's so inspiring and amazing. And I have a question to ask you, like, what's kept you going with all the adversities, with everything that you are facing? Like, what kept you going that, yes, I want to achieve this goal?
Fear. Like that's my number one thing. I don't want my kids to go through what I've gone through, because there is someone who always pays the price for us to be where we are, right? So one is fear. Second is to see people keep believing in me and telling me I'm worthy. I can't give up. I need to go on, because it might sound silly, but the community is my fuel. When I give up and try to read or go watch TV, someone will call me and say, "Hey, we need to build this Power Automate or Power Apps. I want you to work on this." And I have a mentor call from Monday to Sunday. Sometimes I was double booked, so I can work with them and keep going, so I can give a better life for my kids and for myself too, and my mental health. If I sit down in silence, all I think about is my dad. So I don't want that. I want to keep going. You will get to a pit hole where you see yourself rotating, but if you keep going and keep working hard, make yourself busy, it's good.
Thank you. Liz, you've got your hand up. Go ahead and come off mute.
Oh, Meron, your story is amazing. I can't tell you how many times I had goosebumps and the tears were swelling up in my eyes, and it was just amazing. So thank you for sharing your story and being vulnerable, and opening up. I think that is so important. I had put a question in the chat that I'll just ask you live instead of putting in the chat, but clearly mentorship has been a huge part of your journey and your your growth, both personally and professionally. I have not had a ton of experience with what I would consider a formalized mentor. So when you say mentor, is it more of a formalized thing, like you've scheduled time with an individual, or is it just kind of casual through the people that you have met? I guess it's the journey of finding a mentor, and how do you find a mentor that's a good fit for you? Like, what are you looking for? Are you asking questions? Are you going places? Like, where do you find people that would be that, and how do you consider them to be a good mentor for you?
Thank you, Liz. That's one of my favorite topics to talk about. I,
Good.
I tell people if LinkedIn has an algorithm that identify people, I'll be blacklisted because I have a dedicated time in LinkedIn to read my feed properly, and when I find someone, I follow them, see what I can find that resonates and what I can learn from them. I'm not afraid to reach out and tell them what I want. I have all kind of mentors. I have a mentor. His name is Bob Bison. He have any background in tech, but he randomly calls me and we talk. Sometimes I just want to be heard. So if you're like I can, if you are a mentor, let's say now we are engaged and discussing, and you might see something that I can improve. You can say, "Hey, Meron, you did a great job, but I think you can do better on this way." Sometimes mentors see a potential and reach out, and sometimes a mentee might initiate the conversation. So I have people I meet every week. Uh, Sometimes I meet every other week, once a month. But I try to reach out to people and say, I have only 30 minutes. I ask them a question and they give me assignment and we never meet again. But whatever assignment they give me, I complete and send them a message, say, hey, I finished, I learned this. This is what I have done, because they have responsibility too. As a mentor, sometimes as a mentee, we forget our mentors has a life. They have family, they have friends, and I send out a thank you card on Thanksgiving. But instead of the mentors, because they always hear me say thank you, I send it to their family to say thank you for allowing them to come and mentor me, because they are taking time from their family life to empower someone. If they have children, they have to understand whether it's 1 hour, half an hour, they invested. I want to let them know what their parents are doing. They're helping someone, and this person is doing this. So kids will understand, wives will understand, because you two might have a different angle or values when it comes to mentorship, but I want them to know they are investing as a family on persons like me to be empowered. So mentors, when you have time, you can schedule regular calls, or like once a week, once a month, once in a blue moon, but check in to say, hey, how are you doing? We have been in touch. Like Bobby, I met him on the airport and I said I would reach out. And I did reach out because his confidence when we walked in on that ellipse party, I was surprised. His positive energy, the way he talked to everyone from top bottom. So I want to learn how to communicate with people without seeing the difference. Find the common ground and talk to them. So I reach out to mentors all the time when I see a potential where I lack and learn to grow. So it
Awesome.
depends.
Great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, great content. We had one more. I saw Jan Marie. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you
Your
got
hand up.
that right.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes,
Yeah,
so hi everyone. So I just want to mention as well, it was very, very inspiring to hear your story and to hear how much growth it is within that story that you shared with us. So I want to thank you for that. And Liz, you asked quite similar to what I wanted to ask, so Meron did cover that.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Not a problem.
Great. Any other questions for Meron? We're actually getting close up on time, but we do have a little bit of time left. If anybody had any questions or any of the last comments. Yeah, Brianna, go ahead.
Hi, Meron. I'm Bree. Nice to meet you. I'm with Doug. I really appreciate you sharing your story today. I love hearing just about different people's like cultures and their stories. But you spoke a lot about like the difference with your Ethiopian culture and like coming to America. But what are some things about your culture that became like your superpower, like your strength as in your journey into in immigration and like assimilating and everything? I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah. One of the thing is like when people come in, I stand up all the time. And people say, you don't have to do that. It's not me. It's how I'm programmed. So anybody walks in, you see me like up. Um, that was a fun part. I use it as icebreaker when I speak with people. The other one is I like to respectful. I'm very respectful to people, whether it's a kid or big person. I say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, because we don't address people in our country just literally by name. We have a respectful way saying it, and I try to find the right word in English. I couldn't find anything to put in front of their name, and Mr. and Mrs. didn't go out well. It only works in taekwondo room. So I say to everyone, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir. So people think first it sounds weird, but I'm showing respect, and that helped me to go a long way. Even when kids with birthdays or something, or when I'm passing, when I say yes sir, they just look at me. I say, just take it, leave me alone. So it's respect really helped me to respecting others, and also not to see people on a different angle. Growing up with my dad, I don't like to complain. Um, After coming here, I lost a lot of family members. Sometimes I feel like I'm going home, it might be empty. But my keep going way is like my dad showed me not to whine, like always look things on a positive side. You can cry all day. Julie always says, Meron, it's okay to cry. I say, I don't have a reason to cry, because actually when I count, my blessing overcome like the things I lost, because I have everyone in the community I can reach out. So the other one is just seeing things on a positive side, because I could have been in right now in a civil war in Ethiopia. uh, but look, I'm speaking with you. My kids are at school safe and sound. I know they will be back safely. That's a blessing. So focus on the positive sides. If we focus on the bad side, that's a vicious circle that you cannot come out. So I use the three ways, but positivity and respect goes a long way.
Thank you for sharing. Awesome.
Thank you, Brad.
Any other questions for Meron? Well, I appreciate, again, Meron, you joining us. Again, it's been a pleasure, getting to speak with you every week, sometimes more. And I love the cohort we have going here. So I really want to give a shout out to Robin and Taylor and Jody, who couldn't join us, Mark and Rachel and Liz and Madison for helping set this up, and everybody that joined us today. It's been a nice kickoff, and we're looking forward to continuing this on, like we said, monthly, and through podcasts. So we'll be putting out more podcasts around diversity. As I mentioned, I did a lot of women in tech, so there's a lot kind of coming through the pipeline, but really looking forward to creating other diverse opportunities to spread the word. So always happy to be here with you. And again, reach out anytime. Robin, do you have anything you want to say, or Taylor, or Rachel, anything you want to say before we head out?
I think just keep your eye out for next month's meeting. It's going to be probably not as exciting as getting to listen to the podcast with you and Meron, but excuse me. It will be all of us on kind of a panel talking about who we are, why we started the group, what each of us brings to the group, and kind of that vision that we bring in our lives and in the community. So I think it'll be good. It'll be a good introduction.
And
Yeah,
sharing
thank
of
you
your
all for-
stories, which I think is fantastic. Because I think that's part of the panel for next time, right? Is that you'll each share your stories and why this topic of diversity is so important to each of you as individuals. And I think it will be just as great, Robin. You guys will each be sharing your stories just like Meron did.
Yeah, thank you all so much for coming. And in Chicago in May, I think we're still going to be trying to throw an in-person Diverse Minds event. So keep an eye out for that as well.
And also, I think that we've added some diversity and inclusion breakouts into the
We do.
agenda.
There's 6 or 7
So-
sessions now we're up to. Yes, we've got a number of sessions in the agenda, which is exciting.
Yeah. Excited about that. So thank you guys again for joining us, and I'm so excited to get this group kicked off and see where we go with it.
Me too. Rachel, anything from you before we sign off? Appreciate you joining us. I know it's getting late where you are, so you're probably
No,
ready to.
Yeah, nothing for me. It's 5 almost 6 p.m. here. I just appreciate Meron for sharing our story. Yeah, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thanks again, everybody. Appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next month to share some more.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.